Adeoye, the Anambra State Commissioner of Police, on Saturday bowed out of service after 35 years of service and 10 months of leading the State Police Command.
I must recognize the grace and mercy of Almighty God who spared my life to see this day. I want to thank Nigeria and the Nigeria Police Force for giving me the opportunity to serve. I thank Nigeria not just for this opportunity, but because Nigeria invested in me. I have been privileged in the course of my career to receive training at home and abroad.
Aderemi Adeoye is a dynamic man. He's an intelligent man. He's a proactive man. I remember when we had challenges in my station, NT Oka, he was there pronto to deliver with his men to come and support us. He's really dynamic and we're going to miss him greatly.
The man is a colossus, he's awesome, he's down to earth, affable, committed.
He's a wonderful man, a gallant and very straightforward person. He never misses our meeting, and security and integrity as his second name.
He's a true representation of police. Is your friend. He's dedicated to women empowerment.
Duty in Anambra has been very, very commendable. I commend his work, his doggedness, his zero tolerance for crime and criminality.
Integrity, a man of truth, a dedicated cop, and his actions while in Anambra State is worthy of emulation.
He's a very refined gentleman. He displayed what I would call a very high level of, ethical practice in security.
Adeoye was appointed police commissioner in Anambra by the Police Service Commission on June 30, 2023, succeeding Echeng, who was promoted to Assistant Inspector General of Police and redeployed to Zone 9, Umuahia in Abia State. However, Adeoye admitted during his ceremonial pull-out parade from the Nigeria Police Force in Oka that his net worth is now 20 billion naira. And he has set his eyes on displacing Alhaji Aliko Dangote as the richest man in Africa within the next 10 years. According to Adeoye, and I quote him, "In 2018, I founded an investment club, Alpha Trust Investment Club Limited. We started it with a modest sum of 54 million naira. But today, we have investments worth over 20 billion naira. That will be my full-time business from Wednesday, May 1. We have been investing, and now we want to go into full-time business. And we will, in the next 10 years, give Dangote a run for his money." End of quote. Aderemi Adeoye joins us now on the show from Oka. Good morning, CP Aderemi Adeoye, and thank you for joining us on the morning show.
Good morning, and I thank you for giving me this opportunity of a reply.
Well, no, this is not a right of reply. I'm sure the right of reply will come later from persons who have been criticizing you. But here, you are here to just tell us your story. Now, congratulations on the completion of 35 years in service. But the big story is that you, a civil servant, after 35 years, you now say you are a billionaire. You announced it yourself. And you said, in fact, you are going to exceed Aliko Dangote's record, the richest man in Africa. And people have been wondering that a man in whom Nigeria has invested so much, you have received training in Ghana, in England, in Israel, in California, and you have served at the UN. You rose to become commissioner of police. People have praised you in terms of your talent. But there is something called civil service rules. You as a serving officer, you use your position to set up a company, to become a billionaire by your own admission. Okay, what does that say about your commitment to your work as a civil servant, as a policeman? And what do you think your example represents for other policemen? If you are leaving service and you are announcing that you are a billionaire, every other man from constable up the ranks will say they would like to be a billionaire too. So were you really committed to service? Did you just use your 35 years to use the Nigerian state to benefit yourself? That's the big question out there.
First and foremost, you said, by my own admission, and you went on to quote what was attributed to me. May I request that you provide the clip where I said I am now a billionaire? I never said so. And I am shocked that erudite journalists of very high reputation will simply run with a story they never researched. I have never said anything and withdrew it. I weigh my words before I utter them. And every word I say in good faith. I never said I am now a billionaire. And anyone who has proof to the contrary is challenged to produce it. Now, going to whether I have used my office, those who make the assertion can also prove that if they have evidence. I have never abused my office. I have never amassed wealth. I have never done anything that is against civil service rules or any law known to man. Civil service rules and police code of conduct does not bar anyone from investing. There is no law against buying shares. There is no law against investing in land or property. The only thing is that you must be able to justify the means. There is no law against being a member of a cooperative. Many public servants are members of cooperatives in their churches, with their age mates and age grade, in their town unions, even at their workplace. I am also a member of Nigerian Police Cooperative. And when the club I founded was mentioned, I had the word limited added to it. And it was ascribed to me. What a fallacy. We don't have a company. It is not a company. It is an investment club that has an arm that is registered with the Lagos State government as a cooperative. And we are registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission. Olusegun Adeniyi, in his verdict column, claimed to have done a Google search and he couldn't find anything else, even though when I did the same Google search myself, I found several entries that explain to the world what we do and how we do it. He only zeroed down on one negative report by renegade members we had expelled for criminal misconduct and gave them generous space. He said he checked the CAC database and he could not find us, meaning we are illegal, meaning we don't exist. That's a fallacy. I have our certificate of registration here, and I hereby display it for the world to see. This is from CAC. Not only are we registered with the CAC, our annual filings are up to date with the CAC. Like I mentioned earlier, our loan arm is also registered with the Lagos State government as a cooperative. Here is our SCUM certificate issued by the EFCC. So you can begin to see when someone says we don't exist, we are not registered, and I've shown evidence that we are, including registration with EFCC. When somebody said you Google, and the only thing you could find is a petition to the Inspector General of Police by renegade members expelled for criminal conduct. The Inspector General of Police is a disciplinarian. He does not tolerate nonsense. And the IG will not condone an officer going into anything that is against the ethics of the job. And we look on. The IG never does that. The IG forwarded the petition to me in the spirit of fairness, and I replied, addressing every issue that was raised in the petition. The IGP was satisfied. In my 35 years career, I have never earned a single query. Not one. In 35 years, not one. And I have never been called upon to explain why I should not be queried. Not once have I been tasked to do that. The clip you played just before you asked the question, you had people of Anambra State commenting on my person and my work. That alone speaks for itself. And if I did not do my work diligently, how come the state government named a street after me? It has never happened in the history of Anambra State that has had 32 commissioners of police before I was appointed. Anambra State government also gave approval for the conferment of 2 chieftaincy titles on me by communities who were appreciative of my dedication and commitment as head of a vibrant police command to their safety and security. I have the certificates here. One need the number of Omasi Kingdom.
All right.
I am DK Ochioha 1 of Ogbunka Kingdom. 2 chieftaincy titles bestowed in the space of 1 week by grateful citizenry. And this is the certificate of the street that was named after me. That street is by the Governor's Lodge in the state capital. African Trust magazine declared me Man of the Year. Here is the publication. And it went down memory lane to capture what we have done. These are 23 rifles recovered from criminals in one single operation, to mention but a few.
All right, sir. All right.
So I've not abused my office. Let us be clear, I've given my best in security management for 35 years without earning a single query.
All right. First of all, let me say congratulations on your pulling out ceremony and successful retirement and all the accolades that you've kindly shared with us this morning. I guess it's appropriate to call you Chief CP Aderemi Adeoye. But I'd like you to clarify a few things.
Double Chief.
Okay, Double Chief, with a street name to that effect. But let me ask you, with regards to, I want you to confirm a few things again for the avoidance of doubt, because as you must have seen, a lot of publications, a lot of news following your retirement. We saw the video, very commendable things people said about you, to be fair. But can you clarify the name of this cooperative that you said you helped in establishing and managing? Is it Alpha Trust Investment Club, or does it go by another name? And then, what is the operations? How does the cooperative operate in terms of the monies being, monies being contributed, how it's dispensed? Do you then go on to, I mean, it's your organization, so you can choose to tell us in terms of your investment portfolios. But very importantly, who are also, just give us the category of membership of this investment club.
You mentioned category. Can you take that part again?
Yes. So I mentioned the type of people. So is it just policemen like yourself, or business owners, government officials?
Okay.
Who are the people or organizations who make up, or just, I mean, anybody can join the investment club. Who are the people that make up the membership of this investment club?
I understand. Thank you very much. First, the name of the club I founded is Alpha Trust Investment Club. And like I mentioned earlier, our loan arm is registered as a cooperative, Attic Cooperative Multipurpose Society Limited, registered with the Lagos State government. We carry on investment under the business name of Attic Ventures and Business Services. That is our investment name. And that is the name that is registered with Corporate Affairs Commission. Now, we would have liked to register our full name as it is, but CAC did not allow that and ordered a modification until we got a combination that was acceptable to CAC. Right. So first, let me take the categories of members that we admit. Basically, when we started in 2018, all 177 founding members were my Facebook friends. Facebook friends. And they were drawn from an investment forum where I had lectured for free for years on investment. The suggestion to form the club came from the members themselves. They requested that this thing we are doing as a hobby, and we are making small money here and there, why don't we pool resources together to achieve scale and then do some measure of bigger investments? Majority supported the idea, and they mandated me to set the process in motion. To be sure that everyone who will take part are willingly doing so, I asked those interested to indicate, and they indicated. 177 out of over 5,000 indicated, and we migrated them to a platform which we then renamed Alpha Trust Investment Club. That was the foundation. Subsequently, on a yearly basis, we admit members only once a year. On a yearly basis, these friends of mine invited their family members, invited their friends to join. That was how we grew. We never admitted anyone we don't know. We never campaigned publicly for membership. We simply put out an update, and our members inform their relations and friends who might be interested. And for 5 years of our existence, we have paid dividend every year without fail. We pay dividend once a year. The question you ask about how we pool resources together is very simple. Our purpose is to invest, not to do business. So we don't have an office, we don't have overhead cost, we have no employee, we don't pay salary, we don't run generator, we have no official car, we don't refund expenses of any kind. The only thing members spend, those who are officials of the club, is their data. And that data each person uses for his work is seen as their individual contribution to the growth of the club. Okay. The only thing we spend money on is organizing our meetings, physical meetings. And this is paid for by membership dues, which is 5,000 naira per member per annum. For anyone to be a member, he must be a Nigerian, irrespective of where he is domiciled in the world. Number 2, he must have a visible means of livelihood, which we verify. Usually, we demand to see workplace identity card and we go further to verify if indeed these documents are genuine. We do background checks. We insist that any member we are to admit must not have a criminal record or a pending criminal matter at any police formation in Nigeria. Those who have pending matters with EFCC are excluded. Majority of our members are Nigerian professionals all over the world. So anyone to be admitted, once he meets this criteria, he has a visible means of livelihood, he is now free to indicate how many units of our shares he or she wishes to buy, subject to a minimum of 50,000 units.
Sir.
When we started in 2018, a unit was 1 naira.
CP, I would like to come in here.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of questions I need to ask. Real quickly,
Yes.
Number one, I find it very strange that a company that collects a lot of money from people don't have a resident address. That's very strange. You cannot tell me on God's earth that a company that collects money from people, that fax checks people, that does background check on people, does not have a resident address. And you're saying that boldly on television. Secondly, I would like to see your books. Can you present and submit to us your audited accounts, the accounts of everybody that paid in money, and how these monies were used in various estate schemes, and how this money were deployed and paid to these developers you claim? Also, how monies were deployed for your cryptocurrency schemes and other schemes. We'd like to see the audited accounts. I mean, we've seen all the accolades you got, but we'd like to see the audited accounts. Do you have it? And if you maybe subsequent thing, you can just send it to us and we'll put in the public space, your audited accounts. All your audited accounts. And secondly, how much is your business worth today? How much is your business worth today? And who brought about that valuation? CP, I'm not jumping the gun, I'm just asking a question.
Excuse me, let me say that everything you have said is the script of the renegade members we expelled.
I'm asking
They are feeding you with questions and you are passing it on to me. I am willing to answer them. I will answer them one by one. But I just want you to know that I know the source of the questions you are putting forward. I have no objection against them. I will answer them. Now, first and foremost, you ask whether it is not curious that you don't have a residential address. We are an online investment entity. We have a registered business address, and it is Sudbi 310 Garki Mall, which belongs to one of the members of the Board of Trustees. But I am saying we do not run costs on any premises because everything we do is online. And I will explain our investment. The former person who asked the question has asked me to explain our investment model, which I am on. That's why I say you are jumping the gun. No, so we have an address that is registered and through which we can be reached. But we don't need it because we are not doing business. We are investing. And I will talk now of what we invest on. Can I go ahead? All right, I will go ahead. First, when members pool funds together, we use them to buy shares on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And we invest in landed properties, in gated estates, promoted by renowned developers all over the country. And like I mentioned during my valedictory speech, investment in real estate is the corner piece of our investment strategy. And that is what has yielded the bulk of our worth today. You ask, who does the valuation? The valuation is done by the estate developers. It is easy for any member to work on. And this is how it works. Adron Homes own many estates across the land, and we have keyed into many of them. We bought hundreds of plots in Shimawa behind Redeem Camp at 750,000 naira per plot in 2019. Those plots are now worth 12 million. We don't fix the price, the developer does, and it's the market price. So it is a matter of multiplying 12 million naira by the number of plots we bought. We subscribed for 600 plots. That's about 7.2 billion. In Ibejuleki, we subscribed for 5 plots for the club.
Okay, CP, can you hear me?
10 million naira per
CP,
plot.
CP, can you hear me?
I can hear
I am
you.
the anchor. I need to ask questions.
I can hear you clearly.
CP, I asked you,
Okay.
can you submit to us your books and your audited reports? You talking about Adron homes and everything, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, who did your collective valuation of this investment club? Which company ratified it? Which company checked you and audited your books? I want to see your audited account, monies that were paid in, monies that were paid out, and in these schemes where you said you bought on the stock exchange, I want to see your audited books. That's all I want to see, up till date. That's all.
Oseni Rufai,
Sir?
we are not a public quoted company. We are a private investment club. We are not answerable to you. We are answerable to our members, to the board of trustees of the club, and to the executive management team. You have no right on God's earth to demand for our documents unless you get a court order. Okay. So when you talk of audits,
with a court order, can we ask those documents?
Let me talk. You want to ask questions, you don't want to get answers. You don't want to get answers?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening to you.
Thank you. Like I mentioned, we started this work as a hobby. And I told you we are operating a model that is zero expense based. We hold annual general meeting every year. At these AGMs, we lay out our accounts. And mind you, everything we do from day to day is published in our launch on Facebook for every member to read and be up to date. Deposit slips are posted, receipts of transactions are posted. Every member who read updates know everything we are doing. So when we come to AGM and lay out the accounts, if any member has requests for any clarification, we offer same. And the AGM approves the accounts and approves dividend payment. Because we run zero expense model, we have never invited in any external auditor to audit the books. And every member has been satisfied for the past 5 years. Until February this year, or January, around January, December last year to January this year, when some members, out of greed, and they heard that our worth is now this, based on the calculation of the current worth of our assets, they said they wanted the accounts audited. We said there's no problem, but there's a procedure to follow. First, the annual general meeting must approve that we amend our operating model to incur costs, because audit must be paid for. Second, we need to employ staff and open a physical office that will be running so that records needed for audit can now be kept, because auditors will not use our online materials for their audit. Third, after all these records are in place and the staff are there, then from next AGM, once approval is given, then we can hire an auditor and pay for same. We explained this, the board of trustees met, issued a communique, explain all this procedure we have to follow seamlessly. Majority of the members, we are 1,400. 1,370 were satisfied, and they were ready to follow due process. Only these 33, out of mischief, because they had before then been issuing threats against our officials. They will hunt them down to their base in Australia, they will collect imaginary stolen money from them, and so on and so forth. They even said, I'm running away from Nigeria, my family is already relocated abroad. All lies, all blackmail. So we are following the due process because they became unruly, uncouth, disrupting the peaceful working of our environment and impairing our profit-making processes. The joint panel, comprising the board of trustees and the executive management team, took a decision to expel them. Expulsion does not mean they forfeited their investment. They were advised to liaise with management in an exit lounge we created for them to collect their investment. Majority of them are there. And I speak to you,
Mr.
majority
Adeoye
of the members have already raised a princely sum of 150 million naira to buy off those shares.
Mr. Adeoye.
And to raise capital for our venture into business.
Mr. Adeoye.
So that is the story about the audit.
Please, can you listen?
Hide, and from this year,
this?
all our accounts will be audited.
Can you listen? Don't take over this program. What is that? Look, when I asked you...
Please don't shout at me.
Yeah, no, please, listen. This is a program. It's not for you to take over the program and we are saying we want to intervene and you keep talking.
You ask questions and providing answers.
Yes, I've heard you. We have heard you. Now, here we go. When you said right of reply, you know, I was wondering where that was coming from. But you've made it clear subsequently that you are responding to Olusegun Adeniyi's article in This Day, yesterday. Now, I don't think you fully responded to the issues that Olusegun Adeniyi raised. I will advise you, recommend to you, to go back to that article and read it. One of the things that Olusegun Adeniyi raised in that piece was that, look, people even protested and said you were running a Ponzi scheme. I would like you to address the question about how a cooperative, you yourself use the word, became a limited liability company. And secondly, you said the Alpha Trust, I think that's the name of the company, and the company became big and all of that. How much attention were you paying to your job as a policeman while running the business on the side? And then that company, has it been paying tax? And you talk about right of reply. There are persons who may also come tomorrow. Maybe they will not come to Arise News, maybe they will go to another station, and they will say they want to respond to you. Because there are persons, you use the word, I'm quoting you, renegade persons, you know, that you whatever you call them, but you use the word renegade. They also have a right of reply. So when you use the word right of reply, you know, I was a bit uncomfortable with what you were saying about Olusegun Adeniyi. I don't know how old you are, but maybe Olusegun Adeniyi and myself, we probably have seen more seasons than you. Whether you are retired CP or not, it's immaterial. We are generals also in the media. So please, just respond to the questions specifically and don't say, Olusegun Adeniyi said this, Olusegun Adeniyi said that. He's probably older than you. Please, respond. You have the floor.
I understand your need to protect Olusegun Adeniyi, the chairman of the editorial board of This Day newspaper, whose owner also owns Arise Television. But please, when you want to ask questions, be specific. Because the questions
I've asked you very specific questions.
In the long essay, you say.
It's not long essay. I asked you, is Alpha Trust paying tax? How did the cooperative become your company?
Let me respond.
And how much attention are you paying to your job as a policeman?
First and foremost, I have already addressed the issue of attention to my job. There's no need going over that again. The testimony is out there and it is eloquent. I pay total commitment to my job, day and night, because running the club does not require me to be physically anywhere else. My job never suffered any lack of attention. I keep awake at night, keeping vigil, to ensure if there's any attack anywhere, I can get information promptly and respond accordingly. And the evidence are also there. On the allegation of running a Ponzi scheme, most enlightened minds out there understand what a Ponzi scheme is. It is collecting money from Peter to pay Paul. It's collecting money from new members to pay old members. We don't do that. Any money invested by new members are used in paying for lands we have bought and which have extended payment plan, some lasting 2 years. We secure the contract and we pay over time. So we don't rob Peter to pay Paul. Then the next question will be, how do we generate income to pay dividend? I mentioned earlier that we run a loan scheme. Our loan scheme is at 1% interest per month. And we have officials who handle different aspects of our investment endeavor. Running a loan scheme is a feature of every cooperative. And we make it to provide capital to our members, to provide succor for vagaries of life. The loan can be assessed up to 1 million naira, payable, repayable in 9 months with extension of possible 3 months. And we have 0 default over the last 5 years because the collateral members use are the shares of the club which they bought. Their deposit is the collateral. We have never had any default. That generates averagely sum of 10 million naira for us annually. We have what we call a land auction system where members who buy land when it was at a cheap rate can sell to other members at a discount. Buyers are happy to get such land at a discount knowing the current market prices. Sellers are happy to sell because they make a modest profit. Both buyers and sellers pay 5% of transaction amount to the club. Last year, this generated for us sum of 15 million naira. We also have our internal Arctic Stock Exchange, where members who need cash can sell some of their shares, subject to a minimum, for cash. And other members who wish to increase their stake of the club wealth are able to buy these shares. Both buyers and sellers pay 1% commission to the club. Last year, this generated approximately 4 million naira. We have other endeavors like investment in the stock exchange. I'll give an illustration. We once invested in Lafarge when it was below 10 naira, and within 6 months, it rose above 18 naira. We doubled the money we invested in that stock. All these forays, we publish everything in our lounge. Nothing is hidden. Nothing is opaque. Nothing is obscure. For all those who read updates, they are up to date with all of this. I mention again, we are not a limited liability company. We are not registered as such, and there is no place we have ever mentioned limited with our name. We are an investment entity which has an investment name and which is registered with the CAC, and the loan arm registered with the Lagos State government as a cooperative. I have explained we started as a hobby and the reason why we've not done audit, and I've explained that we are willing and open to have an audit done, and I've explained the procedure. If there's any other question, you can come back.
Tax. Can you give us some information about tax that investment company has paid to the Niger State?
Thank you. Like I mentioned, we have only bought land, we don't sell. Every other transaction we do already have its tax liability inputted. When we buy stocks on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, automatically all taxes, VAT, stamp duty are paid automatically. So in everything we do, the tax implements are already taken. All right? So when we pay dividend to our members, it is after tax, because all our operations are taxable by the relevant authorities. Now, when it comes to land, it is only when we now dispose the lands we have to the public. That is when we might be liable for payment of extra tax to Federal Inland Revenue Service. But we are liaising with the FIRS to advise us, to examine our model and let us know if we are doing the right thing. If we are not doing the right thing, we are willing to make amends. We are a responsible corporate entity, and we want to abide with all the laws of the land. We have already initiated process for Security and Exchange Commission to examine our operations and see if we come under their purview. If we do, we have a chartered financial analyst who will process it for us. We are willing to meet with all regulations and requirements, and we are open to scrutiny. So, for tax, that is my answer.
All right. Okay, thank you, CP. I'd like to ask you, because this was a question that was raised earlier, which you didn't clarify. What's the size of this investment club? We have it, a number of numbers have been bandied around. 20 billion naira has been said. What is the size of this cooperative?
You mean in terms of membership?
No, well, no, not membership. Well, you can answer in terms of membership, but more in terms of the business size financially. We have 20 billion naira on screen. Is that accurate?
Oh. Okay, now, in terms of membership, we are 1,400 strong, 1,400 members. And those who I said were expelled for criminal misconduct were 33.
All right, in terms of the size of your business.
In terms of, yes, in terms of the size of the investment, yes, not business. In terms of the size of the investment, our assets, going by the current prices of estates, various estates in which we have invested, we are in the neighborhood, give or take a few hundreds of millions, around 20 billion naira.
All right. Okay.
And if you divide 20 billion by 1,400 members, you will discover that the average is only 15 million naira. So I do not know where the idea that one person or one member is a billionaire came from.
Okay.
Dr. Ruben Abati also mentioned some aspect of Adeoye's write-up. Okay. And he said that I said I am a billionaire. I did not say that anywhere, and I demand for proof. I challenge Adeoye to provide evidence of such. Okay. Now, if as an average member, he also mentioned falsely, that I ascribe to myself 11 million shares. I'm not the largest shareholder in the club. I'm not the largest shareholder. The largest shareholder works with Atomic Agency in Vienna. Everybody knows him. He's a member of the board of trustees. The second largest shareholder, I am not the one. He's a medical doctor in the UK. And all of them are on the board of trustees. If anything is going wrong, obviously, these ones who have huge investments are the ones to raise alarm. And the person raising alarm hold the minimum number of shares, 50,000 shares, the minimum any member could have. It is ridiculous. It's absurd, totally absurd. And our members, in their thousands, they felt it is an insult to their collective integrity. At different times, we have asked members to restate and to declare if they are confident with what we do. 98% of our members are with us.
Okay, Mr.
And if you
Adeoye,
check your comment thread, you will see them commenting on the stream.
Okay, Mr.
Yes,
Adeoye, no problem. We don't have, we're just raising questions about how, your post-retirement, politics issue, will reflect on the Nigerian police. Arise News worked with you, I think, when we came to Anambra. I think it was in 2021, in November. You were police commissioner then.
Election.
Yes, I was in Anambra.
I was deputy police commissioner for operations.
At that time, yes. The Arise crew, we were there. So we don't have any issues with you. But we need to just set the record straight and deal with the issue of how a policeman, will be also a businessman. That's just the context. But thank you for joining us on The Morning Show.
Thank you very much, Double Chief CP Aderemi Adeoye, for your time with us this morning. I'm sure you've been able to answer, respond, and have your right of reply on this issue.